Hello and welcome back to Ask 9. I'm Becky Phelps, joined today by meteorologist Corey Thompson.
Happy to be here. You found the oldest available male in the building, I think.
Are you right now?
Oh, by a wide margin, I think. In fact, am I the only on television man in the building? I think so.
Jack's here.
Jack is here, and I am significantly older.
You are his senior, technically.
By a wide margin.
Although I would say sometimes Jack acts like he's 65 years old.
He does. He's very old soul.
Jack has an old soul personality.
That's why we get along
so there's that. That's true. I've roped you in to Ask 9 today.
I'm in the gym seat.
Thank you for being here. We are going to do a variant of Ask an Anchor, Ask a Meteorologist, which this is just, I'm going to out myself here. I'm really bad at spelling. I'm really bad at spelling meteorologist.
You spelled meteorology, right?
Okay, thank you. We have our first question in the preview here, and Corey's double checking my spelling. We use Canva to make some graphics, and Canva doesn't have spell check.
Really?
So I was sweating bullets, like copying and pasting from Google. I was like, I cannot mess up the word meteorology. That will be embarrassing.
It's a tough one. Do you know which one comes up in my spell check often when I'm writing like articles for the website and stuff?
What do you got?
Precipitation.
That's tough.
It's a lot. There's a lot going on in that word, but I feel like I should be able to hit it more often than I do. So luckily spell check exists.
You see it more often than most people,
Yeah,
I would say.
That's probably true.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to this question. We've got it pulled up here. Corey, tell us how you got into meteorology. Were you a kid that just loved clouds? What happened there?
I was one of those weird kids that did really like weather a lot. That was where it started. So I always have said that it's been as long as I can remember. So you don't remember every day of your life, right? There's a point where memories begin. And I was interested in weather from a very young age, and before I started school, in grade school. And then I was that kid, because you would start off the grade school day in first and second grade, and it'd be you go over at the start of the day, what's for lunch, and what's whatever, and then it'd be what's the weather today. And I'd always have the answer, because I would have watched the news before coming in to see what the weather was going to be. So that's where that started. Now, I think some of it when I was a kid was a little bit fear-driven. I was afraid of storms and stuff.
Really?
When I was little. Oh, yeah, for sure. I would be first in the basement.
How old are we talking?
17, 18.
Oh.
No, kidding. But
I was going to take it. I was going to
I just got over it last week. No, it is...
Shaking on the air.
Probably before middle school. So through grade school, I had a healthy concern about the weather and bad storms. I still remember being pretty scared of some severe weather in 1998. So I would have been 12 by then. So it took a little while to get over, but learning more and immersion therapy really does work for some of those fears. And so that was one of those cases here where once I learned more about it and learned how to more safely deal with storms and how safe that you really are in most storm situations, you're not at huge risk a lot of the time, that really did help. So that was part of it. Then from there, went to school, went to college. That was the plan the whole time. Went through with it.
Follow through.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone had.
That's true. That's
when you're
true.
a little kid, you don't necessarily do the thing. You're like, when I want to grow up. But what did you want to be when you grew up when you were 8?
When I was 8?
Or roughly.
The first thing that I ever wanted to be was the president.
There you go. Well, I guess it's not too late.
Well,
in fact, it's
unlikely.
In fact, it's a little bit too early for you.
FBI agent was close after that.
Oh, cool.
My dad worked in the federal government, and so we were very
you were tuned
into that. Maybe a lawyer or something like that.
Okay.
And then I took a hard pivot to the arts.
Which has paid off handsomely.
We're doing fine. Yeah. I'm much better at talking about this kind of stuff than I think I would be as an FBI agent.
Investigating crime. Yeah, fair. That's a tough job, so I don't blame you for that. But that goes to show that those things often change.
Absolutely.
Very rarely, and I'm not saying that I was smarter or better because of it, but just very rarely are you locked in at a young age and stick with it all the way. Usually people do have those changes, and that's fine. You don't have to have it figured out even by the time you're 20 or 25, right?
I might still be an FBI agent.
Still could happen.
There's still time, guys.
Call. call if they've got a...
Someone call me if you know of an opening.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me know what they're looking for.
They are, but so I went to school for it, went to Valparaiso University for meteorology. Hopefully I'm not skipping ahead.
No, you're good.
Question. Okay. Did that 4 years, a lot of math, a lot of science. It's hard. I think we started, I could be wrong on the exact numbers, but I think we had about half of our starting cohort got out of the program, because you got to get a certain grade in the math and physics. I got those certain grades. I'm not saying I got stellar grades in all the math and physics. It's hard. It's calculus, 1, 2, 3,
insane.
differential equations, the regular 2 semesters of physics. It is meant to be a ringer, and I survived it, and here we are.
I think a lot of people don't realize how much math there is in what you guys do.
Yep.
I have on occasion gotten to see some of the websites and the spreadsheets and the data, and I can't make sense of any of it.
Yeah, and a lot of what modern meteorological science is based on is breaking down the atmosphere's behavior and explaining it with math. And so that's what computer models basically are, just like a bunch of equations run for a bunch of different things over a large space, right? And so it's all math. And so to be able to understand what a computer model is doing intrinsically, right, you got to understand the math behind it. And so that's the theory. Now, are we calculating those equations by hand every day? No, haven't done that since college.
But you could.
Well, I could.
In theory.
We're closing in, Becky, on 20 years since I went to college. So it's, yeah, I don't know if I necessarily
just dust
could.
that off.
I've got notes. There's notes somewhere. We'll see. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll do that.
That's
as a
not
challenge.
question 2, right?
Question 2 is predict the weather with longhand.
Long division
long
and weather?
division and
Okay,
weather.
show your work.
No, our next question, I had to adapt this a little. Usually the question is, what's your favorite kind of story to cover?
Okay.
Do you have a favorite kind of weather?
Oh, that's a delightful question.
Is it? I was a little worried it was a silly question.
Oh, I think everyone has weather they like better than not. Do you have a favorite kind of weather?
I like pretty clouds.
Okay.
I have a whole folder on my phone.
Any variety in particular? Do you like puffy clouds? Do you like colorful clouds?
I like colorful clouds.
Okay,
I
so
like
you're
when
big
you can
sunrise,
see
sunset.
like pinks and oranges and like fun colors in the clouds.
Love that. Sunrise, sunset, big time.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that for you. My favorite kind of weather, it varies. I do like a gloomy day sometimes. I think they're underrated.
Really?
Sometimes, yeah. Like last week's weather wasn't that bad. I don't
With the
mind. I don't mind
fog?
foggy season. It's kind of good. I do love very comfortable weather. I prefer warm weather over cold weather. I like to be able to just go outside my home without making a whole process to be able to survive.
Yeah.
Which,
that's
yes,
nice.
I know the argument on the other side is, well, you can only have so few layers, right, in polite society, and
guess.
go outdoors. And that's always the argument. You can always add more layers in the winter to some degree.
But man,
You can't be walking around like the Michelin Man out there.
I feel like I am.
Oh, I just got a new coat and I kind of look like it, but it is very warm, so I'm happy with that. But in the summer, you can just leave. Now, you may not be out there for a long time if the heat index is 110, but you don't.
I'm not out there.
But you don't have to prepare to step outside,
That's
other
true.
than sunscreen. Don't forget your sunscreen, kids.
I never do.
I believe that.
I burn very quickly.
So it's maybe put on a negative and just rule out a few things. My least favorite kind of weather, like last night. I think that kind of shows it. The really strong,
Windy.
cold, windy, brutal kind of day where it just takes the heat out of you if you're outside for too long. So those days I could do without. A day like tomorrow when it's going to be cold, but it's still winter-like when it's going to be around 30. But like that's not that bad. I'll be outside.
I love it when it's snowed and it's cold, but it's like wind ruins it. Wind ruins the whole thing.
Sure does.
If you just take wind out and just have a nice peaceful winter day, I think that's gorgeous.
Hard to come by. But we will have,
true.
we could see a couple this week, so you got something to look forward to.
Okay. So we've narrowed down a couple of favorite
All right.
kinds of weather.
We got a hard ball coming up next.
It's not a hard ball, but it might take a minute to think about.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any frequently asked questions that you get from viewers? Anything? I can give some examples. People always seem to ask Jackie what time she gets up in the morning.
That was a big one when I worked in the morning shift. That was definitely a popular one because I don't think people realize how early folks get up for that shift until they hear it. And so I don't know what her answer was. My answer would have been back then like 1:45 or 2 in the morning. That's when I get up. We get to work by 3.
Yeah, that's so early.
Yeah, it's very early. So, I've done all the shifts at this point.
You have.
I've been in the position of all the shifts except for that 9 to 5.
We've worked half of the shifts together.
It's very true. So you've experienced a lot of them. But I filled in on all the shifts, done all of them as a job, except for this 9 to 5, the hours that Joe Winters works now.
Yes.
Which is a great shift. He likes it. I've always been more of a night guy. And so I'm happy in my shift that I'm working now too, which is later in the day. It sort of fits my life better. It just kind of feels right. But I've worked plenty of time in the morning, both at KCRG and before that in a previous life. So it was certainly something I was familiar with. Another question, how do you predict the weather is one that people ask. People ask about other people at the station, or just sort of generically, like, are people as nice, or are they like what they seem? And I think the answer here is, maybe you have a different opinion. I think the answer here is like genuinely, like generally yes.
Yeah.
We have been super lucky, at least in my time here, and even like my experiences before being employed full time here, is that like there have been few to no like big overriding personalities, and you get that in TV sometimes. I think this station has been super lucky that most of the people here, and almost all, I'm struggling to even think of like an example. I wouldn't say it if I could, but I seriously, just like we've been very lucky that people have been very down to earth.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been from the area. I think that helps a lot too. A lot of them haven't been, and they've gotten to know the area really well. But you and I are both local, and we're not the only ones here.
No, there's a lot of local people.
Yeah.
At this point, it's kind of surprising. Like a lot of local people, a lot of people from like the Chicago area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very. I think everyone here is also just like so focused on the work too, and it means so much to them that it's the product, and it ends up being very authentic and very genuine.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think not that we are hanging out outside of work all the time, and like every day we see each other outside of work, and like
Some of us.
I say some people are
Yeah.
very close outside of work, and that's good too. I mean, that's how you make a lot of friends in adult life,
Yeah.
is through work. So that's not a bad thing. But like even if we aren't doing that, we do generally have good working relationships here. People are very friendly. We laugh a lot.
We do a lot of laughing.
You have to. This job
I
is.
don't know if you could have guessed, but Beth is one of the funniest people on the entire planet.
She is.
Jackie also,
Yeah.
one of the funniest people.
And you, in this job, because some days are really tough, you do have to laugh a lot because you are ingesting, like in some cases, not every day. Some days are way more lighthearted. So I'm not trying to claim that this is like a terrible, dark place to be. It's actually a great place to be. But some days are pretty dark. Bad things happen, especially if they happen locally, then that is tough. And so it's getting through that with people that kind of understand that from that perspective. And that really helps.
And you've been at KCRG for a while. You've kind of seen it probably evolve a little bit. And you were kind enough to provide some older photos, some back in the day photos that I am delighted by. Corey, when was this? What am I looking at?
I'm going to ballpark it to be around 2014. I don't know for certain. Maybe a little bit before that. The reason why I'm carbon dating this photo, and it is requiring carbon dating, is that, one, I look like a child.
You look
and
young.
I look very thin. And so I had a jaw surgery in the early 2010s where I lost an alarming amount of weight afterwards, despite my best efforts to drink as much Ensure as I could.
That's not funny.
And I was already very skinny ahead of time there, so I probably weighed maybe 150 pounds there. And so I'm very thin. The screen behind us is a screen. It's not a green screen. That was when the station went to high definition broadcasting from our news.
Whoa.
And so it was a rear projection screen originally, touted as being the biggest touch screen in the world at the time, because you could interact with that screen because there was a bunch of sensors around the edge of it that you could touch it without touching it. It was really cool. Unfortunately, you can see the colors aren't vibrant, like it kind of got washed out a little bit because the studio is very bright.
Yeah.
So it's just a really tough sort of thing, but it was really, really cool. And so that's the carbon dating of that. Me as a semi-employed intern here at the station about, I don't know, 13 years ago maybe.
Semi-employed.
Yep.
Incredible.
I don't
Okay,
know why I
another
agreed to this.
throwback.
Before I learned what makeup was, or before I bought any. See the camera reflecting
A
off
little
my,
shiny.
off my
That's
forehead.
okay. Everyone's had phases. Oh, I did that with Rebecca. We talked about makeup phases we regretted.
Yeah, well, this one was no makeup phase, and you can see
A classic.
You can see I also had one suit. Now I'm up to more than one, so I've really made huge strides there. But again, about around that same era of those internship days, I take that hair back. Hair's really thin on top of my head now. This bothers me more than it should.
You look so delighted in this screen capture.
Oh yeah,
You look just like thrilled to be there.
I mean, I took certainly the best frame possible. This was put on Facebook.
Oh yeah, because many frames are not flattering. It's sometimes hard to like go back for a video of yourself and try and pick a screenshot.
Yeah, you freeze frame yourself back home and see what happens. I think everyone could relate to that.
Don't actually.
Everyone gets a bad picture once in a while, and we get them 30 frames a second. So
It's true. Okay, some behind the scenes photos here.
yes, one on the left is from I think my very last day when I worked at my previous job. I used to work at Hy-Vee. Worked there for 15 years.
This cake is well done.
Yeah, they made a special cake for me on my last day at the Collins Road Hy-Vee. Shout out to all my Collins Roads friends who I see around town since they've dispersed after that store closed. But they made me a really nice cake. It was a really great. And then on the right, just months later, maybe a month later, or just weeks later, this is 2018, election night. Me and a younger Justin Gertz in the background, no hair product in for him. And so he looks different. Luckily, he's out of focus in this picture.
Casually outing Justin.
Yeah, but
we won't tell.
We're working on election night there, helping out the newsroom.
Were you doing digital then?
I was. My initial job here was split between doing weather stuff on the television and doing news stuff for our website. And so on the weekdays, that's what I would do. And then on weekend mornings, I'd come in and I would be on the show. Initially with Jordy, I want to say her last name, Kalk. Right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to get her
Sorry,
last
I
name
was
right.
just caught up in nostalgia.
Her last name's different now.
Shout
so
out
I
to
didn't want say it.
Jordy. Got me the job here.
Yeah.
I credit it to Jordy.
You were an intern
I
here.
was an intern, but I was never going to be brave enough to apply for a job here. And Jordy called me up and was like, "We're going to have some openings. Let me put your name in. Come back and work here." And that was so sweet and thoughtful of her.
She was great.
Shout out to Jordy.
Yeah, she was great. She was my first co-anchor. She had just started anchoring that show, I think, the weekend morning show, not that long before I joined. And so we kind of started that together, and we had a lot of fun on the weekends until she left off to a better life.
Better life.
She's having a great
She's
time.
out there. We accidentally made former reporter Molly Swain sound like she was dead the other week.
Oh,
We're like,
she's
Molly, who's no longer
alive.
with us, she's fine and
She's
well.
very alive.
All
but
of our
she-
wonderful former coworkers who are still fine.
Yeah. Now these are musty photos. They are
This is great.
brought in from.
How old is Corey here?
I am.
This is a baby.
21 years old. This is 2007. Same suit, by the way.
Same suit.
As the last couple of pictures. This was from, I recorded this onto a beta tape, and that was some stuff I took back to college, because I was taking a class that year, my senior year, in weather casting. It was taught by ABC's Ginger Z. Ooh,
Whoa.
Right? She's a Valpo alum. I went to Valparaiso University.
She's fantastic.
And she was working at the NBC station in Chicago at the time. And so she came down and taught the class once a week. It was really cool. And she's great. She's, again, another person that's like really nice and genuine off television. Even though she was already at the one of the top markets in the country, she was a very real person, and she was a great teacher too. So too was Josh Baines. Look at him on the right there, telling me how to do this job. You can see I'm absorbing it here, looking intently as he demonstrates.
Everyone's locked in that photo.
Yes, I think he is demonstrating how to be better. He was very
helpful. How to gesture to the screen.
He was kind of the coordinator of the interns back in those days, and so he was he and Kai were kind of my entry points here, and then everybody was so welcoming, and now I'm just part of the real family, not the cousin that you see just a couple times a year.
At Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
What was it like having to, going from knowing you liked weather to having to learn how to be on the air?
It was challenging. It was a long road. I gave up on it for a period of time because I just complicated, and we don't have enough time to explain all that.
What you guys do is crazy. With no script, having to gesture to the wall and look at the screens. It's more complicated.
You're doing that right now. You're selling yourself short.
I don't have a green screen in front of me.
Yeah, this is real.
And it took me a long time to be, comfortable enough to talk without a script in front of me.
One thing I would say to aspiring broadcasters, and nowadays it'd obviously be a little bit different. You can do it podcasting or YouTubing or whatever you want, but do something that does require you to talk. And so I think part of broadcast journalism curricula should be doing radio. So that was something I did in college that I think was really, really helpful, because and it was a music station, it's a college radio station, right? So it's still music based in a lot of ways. But once that song stops, you got to do something. And sure, you could bail out and hit the next track button or whatever, but you got to talk. And so you got to learn it one way or another. My first radio shift there at WVUR in Valparaiso at the college was 2 to 4 a.m. on the early mornings of Thursdays. No, it was great. It was great because nobody was listening. And that was great because then I could learn and
there's something to
mess
that.
up and do whatever I wanted, basically, because again, nobody was listening. But then we had better shifts in terms of time slots. However, that means they just got preempted more often by sports. So really, the 2 to 4 was the sweet spot, especially because I had no classes on Thursday that semester. It was great.
That's critical. That's important. Not going to the class the next day and being barely awake.
Oh yeah,
I could not imagine that. Radio is interesting because that also, you get a voice out of radio.
Yep, and podcasting fills some of that gap now, right? Because it's the same kind of thing, but just not necessarily live. I know some podcasts do start as a live show and then turn into a podcast too. But yeah, just being forced to do something without the ability to do it over, I think is really, really helpful for this kind of job.
Live is a whole different ball game.
It's a lot of fun.
It is fun. I always liked it. I grew up doing theater and stuff like that, which, you have a script and it's different that way. But yeah, I always liked that part of it a lot. Thank you, Corey.
I got to run back. Everyone's running today.
You do,
I got to run back to the studio.
You can go ahead. I want to share. Let's do really quick. Rebecca Vaughn painted this for us in our streaming studio.
Oh, lovely.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
There's a photo of it on her Facebook page. Go check it out. Shout out to Rebecca. Happy Little Trees.
It looks really good.
It is beautiful. But Corey, thank you for joining us here on Ask 9. And we're going to get you back for the 6 o'clock news. So tune in for the 6 o'clock with Corey and Beth. And we'll see you here tomorrow on Ask 9.